All right, it is Margarita time. This is one of our most popular, delicious cocktails at iPic, and since day one, we've always had a commitment to 100% de agave tequila. Now, when you look at a bottle of tequila, if it does not say 100% agave, you don't want to drink it, because that means that only 51% of the alcohol came from agave. The other 49% could have been from any cheap ingredient. So always 100% agave, and with confidence you can tell our guests we only use 100% agave tequila at iPic since day one. Now, this is also reposado. Now, reposado means rested, and this is rested in used bourbon barrels. So it gives it this beautiful little bit of spice, a little bit of vanilla, kind of rounds out all the edges, but maintains that 100% agave flavor. Now, tequila is, of course, the spirit that's most known in Mexico. It is essentially a specialized mezcal. I know this gets a little confusing, but mezcal is the category of all of the fermented maguey or agave spirits in Mexico. Tequila is simply a mezcal from 100% agave, blue agave, or agave Weber Azul, from specific states delineated for growing tequila. Mainly Guadalajara, but 7 other states. For our purposes, we're going to talk about tequila, 100% agave from Guadalajara, and Camarena. Camarena is one of the most important family names to know because they are a multi-generation family that grows agave. They grow over 1 million plants. And for generations, they were growing these and selling their plants to other distilleries to make tequila. And so now they have a tequila with their name on it. So it's one we're very, very proud at iPic to present. And again, it can be described as a bourbon barrel aged tequila. It spends about 6 months in used Kentucky bourbon barrels. Again, that adds a little bit of richness, a little bit of that bourbon note, but really what's coming through is 100% agave, which is this beautiful light and bright. It's got a little bit of herbaceous note to it, and because it does come from a plant, there's a natural acidity. That's why tequila tastes so good with lime juice, because they just kind of pull that acid together. All right, so now our margarita, we use cold pressed lime juice from Ripe. It is a company that cold presses the juice. They actually pasteurize it with pressure, with no heat. So it's tasting like fresh squeezed lime juice, which makes the best margaritas. All right, now another kind of signature, only iPic, that we do is the way we do our salt. So we take our rocks glass, and you will see no margarita sponges in iPic. If you see one, please throw it away. You take a nice juicy lime, and notice there's no pith in there, beautiful green on the outside, and we're just gonna wipe that about a square inch or square inch and a half right on the side, and we're gonna dip that into our salt. Now, the reason I like to do it this way is you don't have to ask the guests, would you care for salt or not? So the salt is on the side of the glass, it doesn't get inside. If the guest doesn't care for salt, they can drink from the rest. If they're really into salt, they can lick the glass of whatever they're into. It's totally cool, but the salt right on the side. And when you present it, I like to have that salt right at 4 o'clock, and our lime's gonna go at 3 o'clock when we finish garnishing. So again, if the guest doesn't care for salt, no problem, we'll do a glass without salt, but you can just confidently sell the margarita, don't worry about asking about the salt. Now the salt, the other unique item with that is it's kosher salt with 2% ascorbic acid. Now ascorbic acid is vitamin C, it's good for you, right? We wanna keep our guests nice and healthy, but it adds a nice little spritz to this as well. Really just kind of brightens up. Something I guess isn't going to notice, but just so you're aware, our salt is a little bit better, and they're going to be, oh my God, the salt tastes so good, and it's going to taste like salt, but with a little bit of vitamin C tang in there. Alrighty, so now that we have our salt in there, we're going to fill this up with ice, all the way to the top. All right, now this is a cocktail that is one of our best selling, and so at a number of locations we have this on draft. Some places we batch it, some we have it in our store and pours, but it's very important that it's always shaken first. So if it is in, say, a deli, give it a little shake first. If it's in a store and pour, swirl that around a little bit. If it's in a keg, those kegs you want to shake at the beginning and the end of the shift, because again, it's fresh juices in there, they're going to settle, and you want to make sure everything's consistent. They got the perfect amount of tequila and lime and all that good flavor all throughout. All right, you also want this to be cold because you don't want to melt your ice too much. You want to still have ice in the glass when the guest finishes, so that first sip is as good as the last sip. So this is going to pour right in, everything in, batch right in there, nice and beautiful and consistent. And that is our iPic Margarita. Now the lime, notice again, Beautiful, fresh, juicy lime, no pith, no browning on the outside. These have to be cut every day. You cannot keep limes from the day before. You shouldn't cut half a case of lime on a Monday, just enough to get through the end of the shift, and any left should really be tossed. You can juice them, but then toss the actual limes. Fresh wedges in the morning, because fresh lime wedge on the outside lets the guests know, oh, we're using 100% agave. We care. We're making a great margarita. Now, this is going to go right on the side. And again, salt at 4 o'clock, lime at 3 o'clock, and that is our margarita. Now, there are two slight variations. We do present this at our legacy sites as 100% agave, tequila reposado, camarinha, cold pressed lime, margarita. Now, when we make them in our locations in Florida and Texas and Arizona and Southern California, we do what we call a look better naked margarita. It's still our iPic margarita, but it's kind of like presented and made a little special for that warmer weather areas. And we use a bit of stevia. Now, stevia, also known as sweet herb of Paraguay, it is a plant, and the leaves are 30 times sweeter than sugar, no calories, no carbohydrates, completely natural. So we use stevia, a bit of organic agave, of course the fresh lime juice, and the tequila reposado, and that is our look better naked margarita. Looks exactly like this, beautiful, fresh, delicious, but takes the calories and carbohydrates down just a little bit with the stevia. Now, if you are at one of our locations a little bit farther north, if you're up in New York, New Jersey, Maryland, and the suburbs of Chicago, up in Redmond, shout out to Redmond there. Great apples up there, great apples in New York. All right, we do what we call our Applejack margarita. Now, for simplicity's sake, we call the iPic margarita, but there is a little regionalism to the north. So with that one, we're using the Camarinha Reposado. We're also using fresh apple cider. We get it fresh from farms from areas where we're selling, because we're able to get beautiful fresh cider, Maryland, Hudson Valley from New York, from Washington State, from the Midwest, from Chicago. And so that's why those locations have the Applejack margarita, because the apple cider is so amazing. And we just can't get that year round in some of the southern locations. So the Camarinha goes in that. The Applejack also has Applejack. That's one of the oldest spirits in the U.S. Comes from Laird's, old family distillery, going back to recipe all the way to George Washington. Actually gave the distillery the recipe. George Washington was a distiller besides being the father of our country. So the difference with that one, again, the Applejack, it still has 100% agave tequila. It still has cold pressed lime, a little bit of fresh cider in it, and one little last touch. So I'm going to show you how we do this for the shaker or for the Boston round. And let's say this is our Look Better Naked Margarita. Again, available by the glass, or it can be in a shaker. But let's say we're up in Washington State, we're in Bolingbrook or South Barrington, we're in one of our New York, New Jersey stores. We are going to do the Applejack Margarita. Now, if you're in one of our restaurants, Boston Round, if you are in the theater, an iPic Signature Shaker, these both, same price, they both can contain the same amount of liquid, and great little funnel, collapsible. We fill this little guy up, and it's perfect for two people sharing. It's more fun to share a bottle of a cocktail than just have two individual cocktails. It just brings that communal, just like sharing a bottle of wine. Just makes it a little bit more special. All right, and so that is our Applejack Margarita. And so if it's coming in a shaker or in a bottle, we're going to do the same rocks glass. A little bit of lime on the outside, again, an inch and a half. Just round that right out. We've got our salt. And again, that salt right on the outside. So right there, 4 o'clock. Our ice goes in. And our lime, again, right there at 3 o'clock. We present it with a bottle. Now, if it is one of our north locations with the Applejack, fresh apple cider, salsa. So we've just got local apples, a little orange, a little lemon in there. That goes right on top. Gives them a nice texture. It also kind of reminds them, wow, there's fresh apples in this. This is amazing. It's kind of like you're getting your apple a day in your margarita, or getting your little bit lower calorie, lower carb from the stevia. Fresh margaritas, one of our best sellers. We really want to make it a signature. Remind the guests, 100% agave, Camarinha, great family name. They put their name on it. These are agave growers. Great stuff. It's something you can be proud of. Make sure your limes are beautiful. Make sure your glasses are cold. Make sure your ice is in great shape. Prepare and care. And that, again, is our margarita. And hola. Let's buen provecho. Delicious, balanced, fresh, phenomenal. Great margarita. Now, A couple little upsells if you want to do a little smoky float, a little mezcal, can be a beautiful verbal offer. If you would like to offer that in a bottle or shaker, it's a great way for people to share. If you're in one of our restaurants, punch bowl of margarita. Nothing says party like a punch bowl of margarita. 6-top, 8-top, boom. It's batch, it's all ready to go. It's fun, it's sharing. So all kinds of options for selling this, and that is our iPic margarita, only at iPic. Cheers.